My beloved child, I have watched you long enough to see your steps fading among voices that do not belong to me. My patience is still vast, but you are touching a dangerous line that you yourself do not recognize. Another voice has slipped into your soul, soft as a breath, yet strong enough to draw your heart away from the truth. Are you sure you are truly listening to my voice? Or are you only chasing the whisper that is slowly closing your soul? I have not come to soothe your weakness, but to tear apart the veils of deceit that are binding your soul day by day. You think you are still fine, yet the silence of the enemy is tightening around your soul more than any visible chain. And if today you do not stop to listen to my voice, you will keep walking in the darkness while believing you are walking in the light. Once, the prophet Elisha stood in the city of Dothan when the enemy armies surrounded it on every side. His servant trembled because he saw only swords and spears. But Elisha stood in calm. It was not because the city was safe, but because he was hearing what others could not hear and seeing what others could not see. When he prayed, the servant's eyes were opened, and beyond the wall was a blazing army of heavenly hosts. Only when the ears are turned to the right voice does truth appear and fear melt away. In the same way, you are surrounded not by soldiers, but by quiet lies closing in around you. And only when you listen to my voice will the truth be revealed. You have never stood alone. My child, the enemy of your soul does not come with a roar, but with whispers that make you think they are harmless. It does not knock you down with a hammer, but wears away your faith, little by little, like dripping water hollowing out a stone. All it needs is your distraction. All it needs is for you to believe one word that does not come from me, and you have already stepped onto a path descending downward without even knowing you have turned aside. I have seen how you withdraw into yourself, believing the sentences that weigh your soul down. I'm not good enough. I've been forgotten. I no longer have any worth. Those words are not from me. They come from the silent enemy, the one that loves to set traps with counterfeit sweetness, that loves to lead you on through exhaustion, that loves to make you question the love I have for you. The moment you believe those words, the door of your heart begins to close, little by little, and yet I am still here, patiently calling your name in the night of those lies. I have not come to condemn you, but to wake you from the spiritual stupor that is slowly choking your inner breath. You think everything is just passing as any other day, but in truth, every moment you stand before my word carries a meaning that stretches beyond time itself. And now, this is the moment when you must stop, listen, and recognize what you have been losing for so long. Do not treat this moment lightly. Your standing here before my voice is not a coincidence of a weary life, but a meeting appointed from before the ages. I chose this moment to touch your heart because I know that weariness and lost direction have sunk deeper into your mind than you realize. If you let this pass by, you will lose the sacred things I have long prepared for you, the very things you need in order to live, to stand firm, and to know your true worth. My child, there are times when I watch you move through each day as though everything were only a meaningless loop, with no beginning and no end. But you do not know that every moment you live is woven by me with a meaning you must not treat as small. Your heart has grown so used to the frantic pace of life that you think this moment is just a passing breeze. Yet it is precisely within these small things that I have planted seeds of change, which only attentiveness can awaken. When your soul begins to grow heavy, you tend to think the whole world is against you. But in reality, it is an invitation for you to stop and look deeper. I have not come to scold. I only want you to know that indifference to my voice is the first step that leads you away from what I have prepared for you. You have grown so used to carrying everything on your own that you no longer notice I have been right beside you in every step. There are so many other calls pressing into your mind, easy promises, sweet but empty things, that you can no longer discern what truly comes from me. You make light of the present moment because you think it is not big enough to change anything. Yet you do not know that I often use the smallest things to open the largest doors. Like the little jar of oil of the widow in the Book of Kings, what seemed like all she had left became the beginning of overflowing miracles. You are the same. You carry within you things that seem small and insignificant, but the moment you place them in my hands, their meaning surpasses your understanding. You do not lose the moment because it is weak, but because you have become accustomed to chasing things louder than my gentle word. Do you remember the little Samuel? When I called him in the night, my voice sounded 3 times, yet he thought it was the voice of the priest Eli. Samuel did not recognize me because he had not yet learned to listen for holiness within the moments that seem most ordinary. But when he answered, "Speak, for your servant is listening," that very moment became the turning point that led him from an unknown child to a prophet standing before an entire nation. You see, I did not choose to speak through thunder or through storm. I whispered at the very time he could have most easily overlooked me. It is when you are willing to listen in the stillness that seems meaningless that I reveal what I have prepared especially for you. The moment you are standing in today carries that same weight. If only you will open your heart. You often feel empty inside because you think I come only through great miracles. But that craving for the spectacular has dulled your sense of my visitation in the small things. When you demand obvious signs, you overlook the quietest yet deepest touches of my hand. Then you begin to think that I am silent, while in reality your heart has lost its sensitivity to my voice. This is not because you are weak, but because you have grown used to the noise of this world, a rhythm that convinces you that what is not grand must have no value. Yet I have never competed with noise. I am simply there, waiting for the moment you pause so you can see that I have never left. My beloved one, every time you take even a single moment to turn your heart toward me, heaven opens new pathways. I have never despised any return to me, no matter how small it may seem. Even when you only sigh in your weariness and whisper in your heart, "Lord, I'm so tired," I count that as the truest of prayers. You are never anonymous in my eyes, and no moment of your life is ever considered wasted. I take hold of every second of your weakness and turn it into the foundation for new strength. So do not be afraid, for in this very moment I am setting right the direction that has gone astray within your heart. Do not be afraid to come back to me, for I do not demand that you be perfect before you draw near. I only ask you to open a small space in your soul so that I may enter the part you have forgotten. You do not need to prove anything. You only need to let me lead you into the true meaning of life. When you ask me to open your eyes, I will show you what lies beyond the veil of weariness, just as I opened the eyes of Elisha's servant to see the heavenly army surrounding them. You do not need to run. You only need to stand still in me, and every other noise will fade away on its own. And this very moment of turning back will become the foundation for the new thing I desire to build in your life. You see, this moment is not just a pause, it is the doorway into the true life I have prepared for you. But in order to keep these sacred moments, you must recognize a gentle yet profound truth. You do not always hear my voice correctly. In the very light I sow into your heart, there are always other whispers slipping in, trying to twist what I am speaking. They are not loud, yet they carry a strong pull, slowly drawing you away from the sacred without your awareness. And if you keep ignoring my voice, your heart will grow accustomed to error, and you will not even notice. Let me tell you why this is so dangerous. My beloved one, for you to understand why the human heart so easily drifts from truth, you must look deeply into what you have been unintentionally overlooking. Every time you ignore my voice, you are not simply missing a reminder, you are stepping back from the true life I have given you. You do not notice this immediately, because spiritual distance never arrives like a noisy storm. It comes in small, slow steps, light as a breath. You think you are only postponing for a moment, but that very postponement thickens another layer of dust over your heart, dimming the light I placed within you. Then you begin to ask, why can't I feel God anymore? While what is really happening is that you have grown used to a silence that does not come from me. I do not scold you, but I do want you to see this clearly so that your soul will not sink into forgetfulness without you even knowing. There are times I speak to you through a gentle peace, through a quiet nudge in your heart, or through a slight discomfort that makes you want to examine yourself. Yet you often brush it aside, thinking it is nothing more than a passing feeling. You forget that my voice does not always appear in dazzling ways. Many times it is a subtle prompting, enough to wake your soul without throwing you into panic. When you grow accustomed to ignoring these small things, you gradually lose the spiritual sensitivity that helps you distinguish the true voice from the false. And so, each time you refuse the call, your heart closes a little more, making every word I speak seem more distant. I am still speaking, but your soul has grown so tired that it no longer recognizes the difference between light and darkness. Consider the story of King Saul. He was once chosen by me, once anointed, once entrusted with a kingdom, yet Saul became accustomed to sidestepping my voice, choosing what he wanted over what I commanded. Every time he made excuses, every time he insisted on his own way, he was not only making a mistake, he was building a wall that kept my voice at a distance. In the end, Saul could no longer hear me, not because I had gone silent, but because his heart had grown hardened, unable to recognize the voice of the one who had once defended him. Do you see? Spiritual death does not come in a single moment, but through a series of small refusals that seem harmless. And if you are not careful, your own heart can fall into that same deception without you realizing it. You often think that postponing is not dangerous, that I can listen to God tomorrow. But, my child, that very thought has caused many souls to lose the most precious things I had prepared for them. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. I do not say this to frighten you, but because I know time can reshape human hearts in ways they never anticipate. When you say, later, you are placing distance between yourself and me, and that distance will grow if you do not actively return. I do not force you to run back to me at full speed. I only want you to understand that each postponement is a passing opportunity, and opportunities do not always come again. Do not wait until your heart is so weary that it can no longer hear my voice, and then, when you grow accustomed to ignoring my voice, other voices will begin to press in. They are sweeter, quicker, more flattering, and you find them easy to believe because they give you an instant sense of relief. Yet you do not realize that these are the voices leading you away from the very source of life. They make you believe that you are useless, that you have been abandoned, that you must save yourself. You begin to depend on those voices, while they are in fact the chains that bind your soul with deception. You do not notice, because the enemy never shouts. It whispers in a way that most resembles my own voice, so that you will mistake it for me. And it is precisely this confusion that I want you to recognize today, so that you may see why you need to return to listening to my voice before any other. But my child, what I desire is not to frighten you, but to help you recognize the value of turning back in this very moment. If you would only pause, open your heart and say, Lord, please do not let me drift away from you. I will at once shatter every layer of dust that has settled upon your heart. I do not demand that you be strong. I only ask that you be sincere. I will do the rest. I will soften the heart that has grown hard, bring light to the heart that has grown dim, and revive the sensitivity you thought you had lost. You need only admit that you need me more than those lying voices, and from that moment on, you will see everything become clear again. Remember that every time you return, I welcome you with gentleness, not with judgment. I have never grown weary of hearing you call my name. Yet I want you to understand that if you keep getting used to pushing aside my voice, there will come a time when you can no longer distinguish between light and darkness. Do not let your heart grow familiar with what is distorted, for when you begin to treat being off course as normal, the enemy can easily construct a false reality around you. I do not want that for you. I want you to live in the light, in the truth, in life itself, things that can only come when you draw your ear close to my voice. And my dear one, what I am about to tell you will help you see more clearly. Why do those other voices have such destructive power? Why is it that the enemy's deception is not loud, yet is able to pull your whole soul away? I will tell you, so that you may understand, so that you may be awakened, and so that you will never again confuse my voice with the voice of the one who sows darkness. My beloved child, for you to truly understand why the human heart so easily drifts away from the truth, you must look deeply into something you have often overlooked. Every time you ignore my voice, you are not merely missing a reminder, you are stepping further away from the true life I have given you. You do not see this immediately, because spiritual distance never arrives as a roaring storm. It comes in small steps, slowly, softly as a breath. You think you are only postponing for a little while, but it is that very delay that adds another layer of dust over your heart, dimming the light I placed within you. And then you begin to ask, why can I no longer feel God? While what has truly happened is that you have learned to grow accustomed to a silence that does not come from me. I do not condemn you, but I want you to see this clearly, so that your soul will not sink into a forgetting you are not even aware of. There are times when I speak to you through a gentle peace, through a quiet prompting in your heart, or through a slight uneasiness that makes you want to examine yourself. But you often brush it aside because you think it is just a passing feeling. You forget that my voice does not always come through dramatic signs, but often as a silent urging, just enough to awaken your soul without causing you to panic. When you grow used to ignoring these small things, you begin to lose the spiritual sensitivity that once helped you distinguish the true voice from the false. And so, with each time you refuse my calling, your heart closes a little more, and every word I speak afterward feels more and more unfamiliar. I am still speaking, but your soul has grown so tired that it no longer recognizes the difference between light and darkness. Think of the story of King Saul, one whom I once chose, once anointed, once entrusted with a kingdom. Yet Saul grew accustomed to evading my voice, choosing what he wanted over what I commanded. Each time he made excuses, each time he insisted on his own way, he was not just making a mistake, he was building a wall that kept my voice at a distance. In the end, Saul could no longer hear me, not because I had gone silent, but because his heart had become so hardened that it no longer recognized the voice of the one who had once defended him. Do you see? Spiritual death does not come in a single moment, but in each small refusal that seems harmless. And if you are not careful, your own heart can fall into that same delusion without you even realizing it. You often think that delaying is not dangerous, that I can listen to God tomorrow. But my child, that very thought has caused many souls to lose the most precious things I had prepared for them. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. I do not say this to threaten you, but because I know time can reshape the human heart in ways they never expect. When you say, I'll leave it for later, you are placing distance between yourself and me, and that distance will grow if you do not deliberately return. I do not force you to run back to me with all your strength. I simply want you to understand that every delay is a passing opportunity, and that opportunity does not always come back. Do not wait until your heart is so weary that it can no longer hear me. And then, when you grow accustomed to ignoring my voice, other voices will begin to press in. They are sweeter, quicker, more flattering, and you find them easy to believe because they give you an instant sense of relief. Yet you do not realize that these are the voices leading you away from the very source of life. They make you believe that you are useless, that you have been abandoned, that you must save yourself. You begin to depend on those voices, while they are in fact the chains that bind your soul with deception. You do not notice, because the enemy never shouts. It whispers in a way that most resembles my own voice, so that you will mistake it for me. And it is precisely this confusion that I want you to recognize today, so that you may see why you need to return to listening to my voice before any other. But my child, what I desire is not to frighten you, but to help you recognize the value of turning back in this very moment. If you would only pause, open your heart and say, Lord, please do not let me drift away from you. I will at once shatter every layer of dust that has settled upon your heart. I do not demand that you be strong. I only ask that you be sincere. I will do the rest. I will soften the heart that has grown hard, bring light to the heart that has grown dim, and revive the sensitivity you thought you had lost. You need only admit that you need me more than those lying voices, and from that moment on, you will see everything become clear again. Remember that every time you return, I welcome you with gentleness, not with judgment. I have never grown weary of hearing you call my name. Yet I want you to understand that if you keep getting used to pushing aside my voice, there will come a time when you can no longer distinguish between light and darkness. Do not let your heart grow familiar with what is distorted, for when you begin to treat being off course as normal, the enemy can easily construct a false reality around you. I do not want that for you. I want you to live in the light, in the truth, in life itself, things that can only come when you draw your ear close to my voice. And my dear one, what I am about to tell you will help you see more clearly. Why do those other voices have such destructive power? Why is it that the enemy's deception is not loud, yet is able to pull your whole soul away? I will tell you, so that you may understand, so that you may be awakened, and so that you will never again confuse my voice with the voice of the one who sows darkness. My beloved child, you need to understand that the enemy of your soul never approaches with loud noise. It never appears with horns, with fire, or with a form that would make you tremble in fear. It chooses silence, a subtle silence so refined that you do not realize you are being led away. You assume you are still in control, still clear-minded, still strong enough to discern right from wrong. But you do not know that the most dangerous thing is not a roaring threat, but the whispered words that slowly make you accept what is twisted without any caution. The enemy knows that if it is gentle enough, skillful enough, you will begin to treat those lies as a normal part of who you are. Have you ever wondered why lies linger in your heart more easily than the truth I speak? It is because those lies strike at your weakest places, your fears, your emptiness, your deep hidden insecurities. They do not come to confront you openly. They come by agreeing with the wounds you have buried inside. They whisper that you are not forgiven, that you are not enough, that you have been forgotten until you believe them, not because they are true, but because they fit the pain you are already carrying. And once you believe, the enemy has found a foothold in your heart without your awareness. It does not need to push you over, it only needs to exhaust you, to make you doubt yourself, and eventually to make you doubt me. Remember the story of Adam and Eve in the garden long ago. The serpent did not shout, did not force, did not threaten. It simply asked a question as light as the breeze. Did God really say? Just a small doubt, just a slight shift in thinking, was enough to open the door for deception to step in. Eve did not fall because of a piece of fruit, but because she trusted a voice that led her to question what I had spoken. And you are the same. You do not fall because of something grand, but because you believe that a little doubt will not take you far from me. Yet that little doubt becomes the gap through which darkness slips in, weaving itself tighter into your thoughts day by day. I see how these lies drain your strength. They drive you to chase after things that are never enough: praise, success, the approval of others. They make you believe that if you strive just a little harder, you will finally find the peace you have always longed for. But the more you run, the emptier your soul becomes. They build in you a false expectation that you must prove your worth, while I called you my treasure long before you knew how to speak. This weariness does not come from your work or your responsibilities. It comes from trying to satisfy voices that can never be satisfied. As long as you believe them, they will keep demanding more until you forget what I have already declared over your life. Remember Jeremiah, who became so discouraged that he wanted to give up because of the attacks surrounding him. He said that my word was like fire shut up in his bones, so that he could not remain silent even though the enemy mocked him without ceasing. Do you see? The enemy does not only use lies to make you doubt yourself, it also seeks to silence you, to make you stop praying, stop seeking me. It wants you to believe that your voice no longer matters, that your prayers go unheard. But Jeremiah stood firm because he knew that truth burns with a fiercer flame than any lie. So it is with you. As soon as you ignite the truth I have placed within your heart, darkness will have no place left to hide. And, my child, what pains me most is not that you were deceived, but that you believed I stood by and left the enemy with a right over you. I have never left you, not even for a single breath. I stand so near that if you would just incline your heart the slightest bit, you would hear me at once. But you became doubtful because those whispers were so subtle, so similar to your own thoughts, that you assumed they were simply obvious truth. They never say, resist God. They speak in softer lines. God isn't listening to you. You can handle this on your own. Or, there's no need to pray. It's useless anyway. And it is precisely those gentle yet poisonous sentences that have blurred the life I have been trying to breathe back into your heart. Do not let lies extinguish my voice within you. They may cause you to lean off center, but they cannot cut me off from you. The moment you turn back, true breath returns to your soul. I will speak again the truth you once forgot, that you are loved, chosen, redeemed, and that you have never been alone. I will restore what the enemy has stolen, your peace, your freedom, and your steadfast faith. But first, you must recognize that these whispers are lurking in the silence. And when you understand how those whispers operate, you will see something even more important. I am still patiently knocking at the door of your heart. Yet a heart that stays closed for too long gradually loses the ability to hear me. Listen to me a little longer. My child, from the moment you began to drift from my voice, I have been standing right at the door of your heart, gently knocking, beat after beat, as a reminder that I am still waiting. My love is not loud, not forceful, and it does not compete with other voices. I give you the freedom to choose, because love cannot exist where there is coercion. But that same freedom makes it easy for you to slide along paths that seem harmless, yet slowly erode your soul day after day. You think that if you just stay silent a little longer, if you postpone a little more, everything will still be fine. But, my child, a heart that delays too long no longer responds to my voice the way it did at first, and that wounds me more deeply than you can imagine. I know you often soothe yourself with thoughts like, I'll come back later, I'll change someday, I'll listen to God when I'm ready. But you do not see that this very later has caused countless souls to lose the precious things I had set aside for them. I never closed the door against you, yet your own heart can seal itself shut if you keep backing away from the light. Like Israel long ago, they hesitated again and again to listen to my words until my voice became strange to them. It was not that I stopped speaking, but that their hearts had grown hardened and numb to the goodness I longed to pour out. So it is with you. If you keep delaying, you will cease to recognize my voice even when I am standing right beside you. Remember the story of Pharaoh, the man who faced warning after warning but insisted on keeping his heart in stubborn resistance. Each refusal made his heart heavier, darker, and I knew he was leading himself into destruction. I gave him many chances, called to him many times, not because I needed his obedience, but because I loved my people and did not want his soul to sink into death. Yet when he rejected me too many times, those very refusals became the chains that bound him to the darkness. Do you see? Opportunities are always there, but they are not endless. Your heart has its own limits if you deliberately refuse. Your heart will lose its sensitivity to hear me. I do not want you to be afraid, but I do want you to be awake. You often assume that I will always wait, and yes, I do wait, but your heart is not able to wait that long. It is fragile, easily hardened, easily pulled away by sweet things that destroy. I come to you with patience, but that patience is not a promise that opportunity will always remain. I knock softly, yet if you let exhaustion, doubt, and lies cover you for too long, you will no longer hear that knocking. Not because I have gone away, but because your heart has grown accustomed to a silence that does not belong to me. And you will think that I am far off, while in truth, it is you who have drifted from the sound of truth. In the love I have for you, I have placed many signs along your path, a reminder, a restlessness, a stirring, a warning. Yet when you keep ignoring them, those signs grow dim. It is not that I stop sending them, but that you have grown used to looking the other way. I love you enough to call you back, but I also honor you enough not to bind you with chains. If you decide to go far, I still watch you, but you will no longer hear me as clearly as before. And what I fear most is this, that you will mistake that silence for reality when it is only the consequence of a heart worn down by delay. But, my child, if you will turn back in this very moment, I will sweep away every layer of distance you have built between us over time. With just a whispered plea, Lord, please do not let me drift from you any longer, I will shatter every hardness, every doubt, every silence the enemy erected. I come not to condemn but to heal, not to shame you but to lift you from the place where you believed you could no longer stand. I will restore the sensitivity of your soul, helping you hear my voice again as clearly as in the beginning. Only do not brush aside this opportunity, for you can never know how hard your heart may become if you keep postponing. And this is what I want you to grasp before you take one more step. If you truly return, I will not only rescue you from hardness of heart, I will also restore what has been lost. You have allowed the enemy to rob you of much, your peace, your trust, your hope, but I can give it all back and more. If you will only take hold of what I am saying today, I will lead you to a place where brokenness is no longer the final punctuation mark, but the beginning of healing. Come just a little closer, for restoration is waiting for you. My child, I know your heart is weary after long days of battling lies, doubts, and all the times you have blamed yourself for not being strong enough. But I want you to know that what seems like utter ruin is not the end of the story. In my hands, nothing is so lost that it cannot be restored. I see the deep fractures in your soul, the places where you believe nothing can reach to bring healing anymore, yet precisely where you see hopelessness, I see the opportunity to recreate something new. I do not come to patch things up, I come to rebuild from the roots, with a love that no power can shake. Like a clay vessel shattered in the potter's hands, you think you are nothing more than meaningless fragments. But I am the true potter, and I do not throw away the broken pieces. I pick them up with gentleness, wipe each one clean, and join them again with light and mercy. You think you must fix yourself, make yourself perfect, be strong enough before you can come back to me. But, my child, it is precisely when you are most broken that I can touch you most deeply, because you are no longer resisting me with false confidence. When you let me do my part, you will see that healing does not flow from your striving, but from the love I pour out. Remember Nehemiah, who wept over the ruined walls of Jerusalem. He did not perform miracles by his own power. He offered that pain up to me and walked step by step under my guidance. I used a man who seemed ordinary, without great influence, to rebuild a devastated city. Do you see? I do not need you to be the strongest. I only ask that you be willing. The walls within you, the places shattered by lies and disappointment, I can raise them again stone by stone. What appears hopeless to you is exactly where I reveal the power of restoration. You were not created to live in darkness, exhaustion, or defeat. You were created to live in light, in peace, and in the purpose I set for you before you were born. Despair is not your destiny. It is only the knocking of change at your door. When you place your hand in mine, what was lost will be returned, not just as it was, but deeper, stronger, more beautiful. I do not only restore what was old, I make new, remake, fill, and illuminate what you thought had disappeared forever. And you will rise, not in your own strength, but in mine, the one who heals the brokenhearted. My child, what I desire most is not your perfection, but that you no longer drift away from me. When you step into the healing I have prepared for you, you are also stepping into the fullness of the plan I designed. Nothing in your past can prevent me from fulfilling what I intend to do in you. But you must respond to this call not with panic, but with a softened heart. When you let me lead, you will understand why I warned you, why I waited so patiently, and why I wanted you to see clearly the lies that chained you. For everything has been leading to this point. I want you to live free, live full of hope, live in truth, and live as the beloved child whom I love with an unchanging love. And when you stand in that restoration, you will realize that what you thought was lost has become the very stepping stone into a new journey with me. I do not only want to heal you, I want you to belong to me completely. I want you to walk in the light, guiding others who are wandering as you once did. I want your tears to become testimony to spiritual resurrection. From now on, you will no longer live out of old wounds, but out of the strength of the one who has turned your brokenness into hope. Step into what I have prepared for you, my beloved, for this is only the beginning. Listen to me carefully now, because from this moment on, every word I speak will reach deeper into places within you that you believed had long since died. It is this very voice, the voice that called Moses out of hiding, that sought David in the lonely fields, that lifted Elijah when he thought he had only one breath left, that is now turned toward you with absolute precision. You may think that everything happening right now is just a coincidence, that you just happened to read these words, that this is only a passing moment without real significance. But I tell you the truth. Not a single breeze in your life blows without my permission. Not a single thought brushes your mind without my knowing. The moment you are living right now is not a random fragment of time. It has been inscribed by me, arranged so that you would encounter again the call you have missed so many times. You still see yourself as just one small person among multitudes, but I see you as a precious seed hidden in the soil, waiting for the day to break forth. When Moses turned aside to look at the burning bush, he had no idea that moment would change the destiny of an entire people. When David stood with his harp in an empty field, he did not realize that his quiet worship was the very time I was anointing his life. When Elijah hid in a cave, longing only for it all to end, he did not know I was about to come in a gentle whisper to lift him out of despair. So it is with you. You cannot see how much this present moment means for your future. You think this is only a brief pause, but I call it the appointed hour. As you stop and read these lines, I am kindling a flame the enemy has long tried to extinguish in your heart. I do not say this to make you afraid. but to awaken you. Nothing in your life happens by accident. I have seen every tear you shed in the dark, in those moments when you thought no one understood and no one was listening. I have counted every sigh you tried to swallow, every longing you carried but dared not speak aloud. On those nights when your soul felt empty and you had no strength left even to pray, I was there, silent, yet never taking my eyes off you. And now I am calling you back, not with reproach, but with the tenderness only a father can have for his child. I call you because I know your heart is tired, your mind has carried too many lies, and you have wandered far from the path I prepared for you. You imagine that you chose to come across these words, but in truth, it was I who brought you here, who led you into this eternal moment that you must not treat lightly. Do you know that there are moments I prepare not in days, weeks, or months, but over many years, just to meet your heart on a quiet night like this? You are not here by coincidence. I have been waiting for you. I have arranged each detail so that this time you would not miss my voice again. For I know that if you listen, truly listen, you will be changed from the deepest place in your soul. And if you refuse, you still will not be able to return to what you once were, because once my word is sown into a heart, it always sets something in motion. It never returns empty. It either softens your heart, or it makes you see your own hardness more clearly than ever before. So I beg you, do not leave in haste. Do not let the burdens of your everyday life pull you away from the moment I have crafted just to meet with you alone. Do not let the noise out there, the urgent calls, the notifications, the anxieties swallow the whisper I am speaking to you. You do not know how powerful my decree truly is. When I speak, all of heaven falls silent to listen, and the entire universe adjusts itself to align with my word. And now, that very word is being directed to you alone, as though out of billions of people, you were the only one standing before me. You are not a small number in a crowd. You are the child I call by name, the one I love with a love that never grows weary. If you say, I choose to remain with you, those words will echo through your life as a covenant. Do you know the power of words spoken from a true heart? When, out of all your exhaustion, your weakness, and the little hope you have left, you say, I choose to dwell in the presence of God, heaven moves at once, darkness trembles, lies are forced to bow, for you have just declared the one thing the enemy fears most, that you no longer walk alone, that you no longer chase after empty voices, that you are returning to the voice whose power created the heavens and the earth. You think such a sentence is only a faint whisper, but to me, it is a declaration of war. It proclaims to every power of darkness surrounding you, I belong to God, and I will not go back to my old chains. I am the self-existent one, the one who is not measured by time or bound by human limits. When I speak, mountains crumble, seas grow still, and the enemy must retreat, and my voice is now standing at the door of your heart, waiting for you to open. I do not break in. I do not force that door open. True love always waits to be invited. But do you know the wonder of it? Once you open, I do not merely step in. I flood with light the very room you have tried so hard to hide. I wipe clean what you thought no one could see, and I heal the dark corners you assumed you would carry to the end of your life. There is no wound that frightens me, no shame that makes me turn away. Everything you bring, no matter how messy, shattered, or unfinished, I receive with gentleness. In this moment you stand between two roads. On one side is the noise that pushes and drains you. On the other is my voice, soft yet strong, gentle yet deep, quiet yet powerful enough to rebuild what is collapsing inside you. You have chased those noisy voices for too long. They give you the illusion of being okay for a while, but they never truly heal. They keep you busy all day, only to leave you lonely when night falls. They drive you forward without showing you what you are losing behind you. But my voice is different. I do not call you so you can keep striving. I call you so you can rest, so you can lay your head upon my shoulder and breathe, so you can release the burdens you have carried for far too long. I want to pull you out of the lie that you must be strong all the time, that you must save yourself, that you must earn love by effort. I want you to know, my love for you does not demand a price, does not require perfection, and does not love you because of what you do, but because of who you are. Look at this present moment as a gift, because not everyone hears my voice in their lifetime. Many walk through their years never realizing how many times I have called them, but you are different. You are not only being called, you are responding, and as you respond, I will open to you what you thought you were no longer worthy to see. I will restore the peace you lost, the robe of righteousness you believed had been torn beyond repair, and the hope you misplaced along the weary journey. I will restore what has been stolen by fear, by wounds, by the poisonous words that have clung to your mind for so many years. And, my beloved child, do not think this is merely writing, a passing moment, or a temporary comfort. No, this is my own declaration over your life, a word spoken by the one who never speaks in vain. When I speak, heaven and earth listen. When I call your name, darkness retreats. When I touch your heart, what was dead comes alive. And in this moment, you are not only hearing with your ears, but with your soul, where you know with certainty that I am truly speaking, truly touching, truly calling. So stay with me. Let my voice realign your steps, mend the places where you are weak, and remind you who you belong to. Do not walk away while I am opening the door of blessing. Do not miss the moment I am using to change your destiny. And when you say, I choose to remain in your presence, heaven bears witness to that decision. You are not only stepping into new life, you are stepping out of the shadows that once sought to drown you. I speak to you with all my love. Listen to me to the very end, for from this point on, your journey will not be as it was before. You will walk in the light, not because you are strong, but because you have chosen to stay with the one who is mighty and merciful. You will live, truly live, within the goodness I give, and nothing, no darkness, no lie, no failure, will be able to take that away from you. Sit still for a moment, for I want to speak to you with the fullness of my heart, a fullness that nothing on earth can compare to. You cannot imagine how closely I have watched over you, from each heartbeat forming in the womb to every trembling breath as you faced your first failures. Not a single moment of your life has slipped outside my gaze. Not a single tear has fallen without my notice. Not a single sigh has escaped your chest without my hearing it. You can hide your sorrow from people. You can cover your wounds from the world. But before me, everything is laid bare like the light of day. And precisely because I know every corner of your soul, I can speak to you with a tenderness and precision that is still sharp, strong enough to stir the deepest parts of your being, yet gentle enough not to crush the fragile places you yourself hardly dare to acknowledge. You must understand that your life is not being spun around by random forces. You are not controlled by the unstable praise or criticism of others, nor by the sudden upheavals of this world. Your life rests in my hands, I who have foreseen every path you would walk, every turn you would take, every crossroads that would lead you to joy or to pain. You are not the product of fate, much less a plaything of chance. You are a work I created with intention, with wisdom, and with love. Before you ever appeared in this world, I already knew what you would look like, how your voice would sound, and even the spiritual battles you would have to face in order to become the person I destined you to be. You are not lost in this life. You are only lost in how you see yourself. Now I speak to you not through human mouths, not through empty eloquence, but by my very spirit. There are words you have heard from others, words meant to comfort yet leaving you vague and uncertain. But what you are hearing now is not those words. This is the word of the one who created the universe, reaching into the core of your soul. If you would only still your heart a little, open the eyes of faith just a little, you would sense heaven bending low before you, not to exalt you, but to bear witness that what I am doing in you now is no accident. The stars above, though they are countless, still follow the schedule I appointed for them. Not a single star shines by itself. It shines at my command. The roaring ocean, what humanity has feared for generations, stops at the boundary I have decreed. The wind that blows across mountain peaks, valleys, deserts, and places you have never seen moves according to my breath. All of creation, vast as it is, listens to my voice, and yet today I have chosen to pour this word into your heart alone. Do you understand how great that is? The sound I am sending into your soul today is not merely a comfort, it is proof that you matter to me so much that I pause everything to speak to you personally. Many people of position and power have longed to hear my voice, yet they never did, not because I was unwilling to speak, but because their hearts held no room for me. Many who are wise in the eyes of the world have roamed far and wide in search of my wisdom, but searched in vain, because their eyes were fixed on knowledge, while their ears remained closed to the Holy Spirit. But you are different. You are not perfect. You have your flaws, yet your heart is still soft enough for me to enter. I do not speak to you because you are more deserving than they, but because you have come to the very moment I appointed to hear what you most need in this season of your life. When I speak, everything must bow. You know what happened when I declared, "Let there be light." A moment before, darkness covered everything, no life, no form, no order. But when that word left my mouth, the darkness that had reigned since the beginning vanished as though it had never been. That is the power of my word. It does not need to argue or explain. It only needs to appear, and all things must submit. When I called Moses from the burning bush, it was not a harsh command. I called a man running from his past, doubting himself, trembling before the truth of who he was. Yet with a single word from me, that fearful, hesitant man became the one who would lead millions out of slavery. What I did with Moses was not a superficial change. I transformed the deepest spiritual awareness within him so that he understood he no longer had to live according to his past. When I anointed David, a teenage shepherd, unnoticed and disregarded by everyone, I saw within him a heart into which I could sow kingship. People look at outward appearances, but I look at the heart, at what earthly eyes can never see. David did not become king because he was strong, but because he let my voice lead him, step by step. When I spoke to Elijah in the stillness of the cave, I did not come in the earthquake, nor in the whirlwind, nor in the fire, though I could have. I came in a gentle whisper, small enough that the hurried could miss it, yet strong enough to lift that weary man back to his feet. And now that very voice, not fire, not thunder, but a tender breath, is calling you by name. You are not in this moment by accident. The truth is that nothing in your life is accidental. The words that are now before your eyes did not appear there by chance. The stirring that keeps you reading, even though you are busy, even though you are tired, even though your heart has wanted many times to skip past it, that is the trace of the Holy Spirit touching the deepest place of your soul. I have orchestrated all things so that you would be here, in this exact moment, to hear what you have been waiting for without knowing you were waiting. It was not you who first sought me, it was I who sought you. Did I not say that I am the shepherd who goes after the one lost sheep, even when 99 others are still safe in the fold? You think you are searching for hope, but in truth, hope is searching for you. You think you are trying to hold on to faith, but it is the very faith I have given you that is holding on to you. You think you are running toward me, but the truth is that I have been running toward you for a long time, simply waiting for you to stop long enough to notice. My child, this moment is not a tiny slice of time in your life. It is the meeting point between my intention and your response. I have waited for this moment for a very long time before you ever knew me, before you understood the idea of faith, even before you knew what it meant to be hurt. I have seen every step you have taken, including the ones that wounded you, stripped you, and left you disoriented. Yet I have never taken my eyes off you, and now I speak to you, not to rehearse what you have done wrong, but to lead you into what is right, which I have already prepared. You do not need to know the future in advance, because it is held in my hands. You do not need to tremble before your past, because I have stepped into it with you. You do not need to fear the present, because I am standing right here, in the middle of this very moment, covering you with a presence no power can break. Listen deeply, because my word to you today does not come merely to comfort. It comes to reset the foundation of life within you. It comes to break the chains the enemy has fastened around your mind. It comes to restore to you what the darkness has tried to steal, the awareness that you belong to me. And once you truly grasp this, no word, whether from the world or from the darkness, will be able to make you doubt your worth again. Open your heart, for I am doing a new thing. A new season is coming. A different way of living is unfolding. And you, my beloved child, are the one I have chosen to step into that light. I am standing here, waiting for you to draw near, not because I need you, but because you need me in order to live truly, to live rightly, to live deeply, to live in the meaning I planned for you before the foundation of the world. My child, if you have opened your heart enough to come this far, then let me take you a little farther, deeper, clearer, gentler, stronger, and as true as it can possibly be. For my word to you now is not a simple reminder, but a river that is sweeping away every layer of the dust of despair, confusion, and deceitful whispers that have clung to your soul all this time. Listen carefully, because every word I am about to speak is meant to seep into the deepest places within you, the places you hide even from yourself, the places you dare not touch for fear of seeing, once again, the wounds that have not yet healed. But my dear one, I am here not to reopen the wound, but to lay my hand upon it and cause it to stop bleeding. Not to rebuke you for being weak, but to remind you that it is precisely in that weakness that my grace becomes most beautiful. I am not a being who exists only in old yellowed pages, not a memory from a distant age, not a voice reserved only for those who are holy enough. I am the living God who is still breathing, still acting, still watching you, still walking with you, still loving you with a love you cannot measure by your limited understanding. I do not exist only in the past. I stand in this very moment, in the space of your soul, so near that with a single soft breath you could touch me. You have heard about me, you have once felt me, but today I want you not only to know me through stories or memories, but to know me through the presence that is surrounding you in this very instant. Do not think this is just a fleeting emotion or an image your mind has invented. It is I, the one who formed the galaxies, who called the first light into being, who has written every day of your life, who am bending down, looking straight into your soul and saying, "My child, I am calling you. Do not close your heart. Do not think that you are unworthy, not good enough, not holy enough, not pure enough to hear my voice. You do not have to be enough in any way before I come. I come to you because you are weak, not because you are strong, because you are lost, not because you know the way, because you are broken, not because you are whole. If you were strong, you would not need me. If you did not hurt, you would not seek me. If your heart had no empty places, I would have nowhere to pour my love. You imagine that I am looking for the flawless, but in truth I choose those who are cracked, because my light shines most beautifully when it passes through those fractures. Let me make this clearer. What you are hearing now in the depths of your soul does not come from your own mind. It is not a sudden idea, not a coincidence. not a mere emotional reaction. It is my Spirit, the one who searches every corner of your heart, who understands every breath, every fear, every wound, every hidden longing, every word you have never dared to say out loud. My Spirit is touching places no human hand can reach, shining into parts of you that you thought were buried forever. The places where you have said, "No one will ever see this," I see them all. But I do not see in order to condemn. I see in order to save. When I speak, even those who do not want to listen still feel it. My word does not travel by logic, it travels by power. It does not stop at the ears, it reaches the soul. It pierces through false strength, through the masks you construct to appear fine, through the defenses you have built for years to protect yourself from being hurt again. My word goes so deep that no pretense is thick enough to block it, and you feel it not with your reason, but with your soul. You feel it in your chest, in your breathing, in a trembling you cannot explain. That is because I am touching the truest part of who you are. I see the wounds you hide, the things you dare not speak of for fear that others will not understand, for fear of being belittled, scolded, or rejected. But I am not human. I do not react like people. I do not love like people. I do not leave like people. I do not change like people. I come to you through the very things you cannot bring yourself to share with anyone else. You think I come only with stern teachings, but in truth, I come first with gentleness. Yes, I expose the truth, but I expose it only to heal, not to shame you. When I touch what is hidden, I touch it with the intention of setting you free, not of wounding you. Look back at the battles you have fought, how many times you collapsed from exhaustion, how many times you wept in silence, how many times you wanted to let go, how many times you whispered, "I can't take this anymore." Do you think I did not see? Do you think I was silent while you were in despair? No, my child. I stood right beside you in every one of those moments. Your heart was simply surrounded by so much noise that you could not perceive me. But what I want today, what I am doing right now, is breaking through that hardened wall so that, for the first time in many days, many months, perhaps many years, you can hear me clearly. Do you know why I am calling you? Because you matter to me far more than you have ever imagined. I cannot watch you walk endlessly in the darkness of lies. I cannot allow you to believe that you have no worth. I cannot leave you thinking that you are merely existing, getting through the days without purpose or hope. I created you with intention. I breathed into you so that you would live, not merely survive. I placed my grace upon you so that you would move forward, not stand frozen in confusion. You may think your life is random, but to me, it is a design crafted with wisdom beyond your understanding. And precisely because you are that important, I will not leave you wandering without direction. I call you because I know that if I do not draw you back, other voices will pull you away. If I do not speak, the lies will speak. If I do not light the way, the darkness will fill it. I did not save you once only to abandon you. I walk with you in every moment. When you fall, I steady you. When you are lost, I seek you. When you are weary, I hold you. When you are weak, I lift you up. When you are afraid, I comfort you. When you are wounded, I heal you. This is what I have done from the very beginning, and I have never stopped. So when my word comes to you today, do not doubt it. Do not treat it lightly. Do not label it coincidence. Nothing is accidental in my kingdom. Every time I touch your heart, it carries purpose. Every stirring you feel is an invitation. Every tear you shed is a seed of the restoration that is coming. I am preparing for you a new season, a season of truth, of healing, of strength, of freedom. All you need to do is open your heart just a little more. And I want you to understand this. Healing is not the work of a single day or a single hour. It is a journey. But it is a journey I take with you. not a journey you must carry alone. You do not have to face your fears by yourself, or examine your flaws by yourself, or mend every crack by yourself. I will hold your hand, step by step. I will guide you, day by day. I will speak to you, moment by moment. I will cause your heart, once again, to tremble with life at the sound of truth. My beloved, even though you have stumbled, been disappointed, and hurt to the point that you no longer want to believe anything good, still, I have not changed. I do not withdraw my promises. I do not cross out your name from the plans I have made. I do not cancel the future I have prepared. You are not too far for me to find. You are not too broken for me to mend. You are not too late for me to begin again. I have chosen you. I am calling you, and I will not let you go. Let me lead you into the next part of the journey, where truth is no longer distorted, where pain is healed, where hope rises again, and where you walk not as a mere survivor, but as a deeply loved child of the King of all kings. Stay here with me, for what I am about to do in your life is greater than anything you have ever imagined. My child, lean your heart closer still, for what I am about to say is not merely gentle reminders, but the very lifeblood flowing from my own heart for you. You do not realize that every time you turn your back on what I am speaking, you are not just refusing a few moral teachings or some guidance to make your life better. You are walking away from the only source of life that can rescue you from the deception that is slowly spreading within your soul. Apart from me, there is no other safe place, no source pure enough to shield your soul from the hooks of darkness, and there is no path that can lead you into the life I prepared for you from the beginning. I am, the unchanging one, the one of truth, the one of life, and nothing in this universe can stand on equal ground with me. Do not think that I speak merely to soothe your ears, or for you to listen casually, or to add to a collection of beautiful sayings you gather. Every word I speak carries the weight of eternity, the power of creation, the breath that makes mountains tremble, the life that can raise up withered souls. You do not know that every time I speak, it is another time I am stretching out my hand to find you in the storm you still think you are enduring alone. I want you to understand that not a single word I speak is wasted. I do not open the heavens to squander sound. I do not give breath just to fill empty space, and I do not speak merely because I have the right to speak. I speak because I see what you cannot see. I know what you do not yet know. I understand what is still vague to you, and I see clearly where the paths you are walking will take you if you do not stop. You may wonder why my words always carry such urgency, but it is because with every moment you drift away from me, your heart is being occupied a little more by other voices. You are not aware that your soul is constantly being pulled between two realms, the realm of truth that I give, and the realm of quiet, subtle, yet deadly deceptive words. And precisely because I know how fragile your heart is, I speak with patience, but also with urgency, so that you will not wander away from the path that leads to life. Understand this deeply. I do not speak so that you merely enjoy the sound, but so that you may be transformed from the very roots of your being. You will never grasp the value of my word if you see it as just another piece of advice among many others. You will not see the power of my word if you receive it only as information. I do not speak to fill your mind. I speak to unlock your spirit, to break the chains you do not even know you are carrying, to shine into the deepest corners of your heart that you have grown used to hiding. I speak so that what is dead within you may come back to life, so that what is weary may be renewed, so that what is hollow may be replaced with the strength of true life. Every word I speak is like a breath blowing into those ancient dry bones, causing them to stand up as a mighty army. You yourself are those bones in need of resurrection, and I speak so that you may return to the fullness of life you lost in the days you chased after deceitful voices. And every word I speak is also like a fire, not a fire that destroys, but a fire that burns away every lie clinging to your soul like poisonous hooks. It consumes the dust the world has blown into your mind, making you believe you must prove your worth, strain to be strong, become perfect in order to be loved. I do not want you to carry those burdens. I speak to set you free from them. My fire does not push you into panic. It helps you see clearly the things you truly need to let go of. And when I kindle that flame, the darkness in your heart has no choice but to retreat. You will feel a lightness you thought you could no longer ever touch. You will realize that what you have been searching for all this time is not in the voices that exhaust you, but in my very words, the words of the one who speaks the only truth that can heal you. You do not know that every sentence I speak carries the rhythm of eternity. You hear them with your ears, but your soul receives them with that deepest part you have long neglected. When I speak, life touches what is dead in you. When I speak, what is shattered begins to be pieced back together. When I speak, doors you thought were permanently shut begin to open on their own. When I speak, the verdicts you have pronounced over yourself vanish like smoke before the wind. When I speak, what you thought impossible becomes possible. Not because you are capable, but because my word carries creative power no force can withstand. You may think your heart is too hardened, but my word can soften even the mountains. You may think you are too weak, but my word has framed the universe. Therefore, there is nothing in you that lies beyond the transforming reach of my word. Listen closely to this, for I want to speak with gentleness, yet with unchanging truth. To move away from, my voice is to move away from life. But to step into, my voice is to step into a wholeness of restoration you have never known. You may think you have lost too much, ruined too much, gone too far, but my word is not limited by your past. It is not confined by what you have done, where you have failed, what you have feared, or what you have avoided. When you open your heart to my word, you will see that life can rise even from the parts you have labeled as forever, beyond saving. I speak so that you may know what you thought was an ending is only the beginning of my work. I know there are moments you doubt, is God's word really for me or only for better people? But my child, if my word were only for the perfect, I would not need to speak at all. My word is for you exactly as you are now confused, weary, tormented, full of emptiness, full of unnamed fears. I speak because I see the part you are trying to hide, and I do not despise it. I speak because I want to save that part, not discard it. I know the tears you hide behind your smile. I know the nights you lie still while your mind runs endlessly. I know the times you think you are strong, when in truth you are only trying to reassure yourself. I speak because I do not want you to live like this for even one more day. Let my word pierce through the heavy air wrapped around your heart. Let it fling wide the doors you shut only because you were afraid of being hurt again. Let it touch the places you protect because you believe they are too sensitive for anyone to see. I do not speak to dig up pain, but to rescue you from it. I speak to bring you into a land where peace is no longer just an idea, where hope is no longer vague, where my love is something you feel day by day, not just something you acknowledge in theory. Open your heart, even if only a narrow crack, and let my word enter. You will see a miracle unfold, not like a blinding flash of lightning that startles you, but like the light of dawn, gently pushing back the night without making a sound. You will find that you no longer strive to be worthy, but begin to live as one who is loved, chosen, and kept. You will no longer be ruled by voices that make you feel small, because my word will expose every lie, every fear, every doubt the enemy has sown in you. You will come to know that true life does not flow from effort, but from allowing me to breathe my living breath into every moment within you. My dear child, listen deeply, for My word is opening before you a new path, the path of one who has been restored, who has received hope back, who has seen my truth for themselves. And as you walk this road, you will know that the life I give is not only enough to keep you standing, but enough to make you a light for those who are wandering as you once were. You will become a witness of resurrection, of healing, of unfailing love, of transforming power. And it all begins with a single thing. You are willing to open your heart to my word, these words that carry the breath of eternity for your soul. My beloved child, from the moment you opened your heart to receive these last words I have just spoken, I know you have already stepped over a new threshold where the light no longer stands outside, but has begun to seep into the deepest, most hidden corners of your soul. And precisely because you are standing at this threshold, I must tell you something more important than anything I have said before. This is no longer the time for hesitation, no longer the time to test whether faith is worth holding on to or not. You have come too far in this journey with me to turn back, and I have gone too far for your sake to let you return to your old darkness. I see even the faintest trembling in your heart. I do not condemn that fragile hesitation, but I want you to understand that this is not the moment to play with your own spiritual destiny. It is not the time to stand between two shores, one of life and one of the silence that once smothered your soul. I, the one who holds authority over all creation, the one who has engraved your name in the palm of my hand, am calling you to keep walking with greater resolve, with deeper assurance, neither wavering nor turning back, because I, myself, am opening the very door you have sought for so long. Do not think that I say this merely to comfort you. I say it because I know the truth about you more clearly than anyone else. You think you are forgotten, left behind, underestimated, but in my heart, you have never been measured by the standards that bind the world. You are not the product of failure, nor a faded shadow erased by life. You are a masterpiece I have formed with my own hands, one I chose before you ever drew your first breath. And I come to you now to remind you that before the mountains were lifted up, before the oceans were named, you were already placed in my plan as an irreplaceable part. Therefore do not fear, do not doubt. The light I am sowing into your heart is so you may know that even the dark spaces within you are being gathered by me to be remade into something more beautiful. But my child, what I am about to say next is even more important. My voice never ends with just one person. I do not speak merely so you may be comforted and then keep it all to yourself. What I am placing in your heart today is not a secret whisper, but a commission. When I touch you, it means I also want to touch those you love, those who are drowning in darkness just as you once were, those souls who are lost, weak, and in despair, whose whole lives can be shaken by a single gentle word from me. You do not know there is someone sitting in the night waiting only for the smallest sign to believe that I still remember them, someone standing at the edge of deep pain who needs only one word of hope to pull them back. I have set you in this current not by accident, but because you are the bridge I have chosen. A lamp that has been lit is not meant to be hidden under a bowl, but to shine outward, to illumine places your eyes have not yet had the chance to see. When I say to you, share this with those who need to hear my voice, I am not commanding you as a master to a servant, but entrusting a treasure to a child in whom I delight and whom I trust. You do not do this out of compulsion, but as the act of a grateful heart, of a soul that has tasted deliverance and can no longer keep it only for itself. You are not merely sharing to help someone, you are obeying my voice and becoming a vital link in the work I am carrying out in their lives. Every time you send a word, a sentence, even a small portion of this message, you are placing a key of freedom into the hands of those who do not yet have the strength to open their own door. And you are at the same time opening another door for yourself, the door into a wider, deeper blessing that only those who dare to become my instrument can receive. You do not understand it all. Every act of obedience on your part opens the gates of heaven wider in ways you cannot see. For I never allow obedience to be in vain. When you take part in sowing my word, when you become the bearer of light to others, it is my very presence that will pour into you with multiplied strength. I reward not as the world rewards. I do not pay you back with mere material things, but with deep contentment, with peace, with clarity, and with a sacred nearness that makes you know you truly belong to me. The one who sows my word never returns empty-handed. The more you pour out, the more I will pour in. The more you give, the more heaven will be widened within you. My child, I want you to understand this with your whole soul. You are here, in this very place, not by accident. Never. There has never been a single moment in your life that has unfolded outside of my providence. You did not happen to find this message. It is I who have found you. It is I who have been drawing you close, little by little, through the events you thought were disasters, through the times you wept silently in the dark, through situations that seemed unrelated yet were interwoven to lead you to the place where you are now reading these words. You think you chose to read, that you decided to listen, but the truth is that before you ever had that thought, I had already planted it in your heart. Long before time began to turn, I saw the day you would come to this moment. Before the first sun burst into light, I knew there would come a time when you would need to hear my voice more clearly than ever. Before the stars were hung in the night sky, I set apart this stretch of time, this very instant, to speak to you. There is no shaking in your life that escapes my control. No misstep of yours has caused me to abandon the plans I have for you. Not a single tear you have shed has fallen without me keeping it. Everything you have ever thought of as coincidence has in fact been a piece of the picture I am skillfully arranging. You cannot grasp the full eternal span of the plans I have set in place, but you can trust what I say, the place where you are standing, the state of heart you are in. The moment you began to open yourself, all of it was written in my book before you were born, not because you are more deserving than anyone else, but because I love you with a love that defies all explanation. I use your detours to bring you to the place where you can hear my voice clearly. I use your stumbles to soften you, so that you may understand the value of dependence. I use everything to bring you home, because you belong to me, and I will never allow you to wander off in vain. So today, as you hear these words, I want you to know that there is no longer anything separating you and me unless you yourself rebuild the wall. I am very near, so near that even the faintest whisper of your breath is enough for me to hear, enough for me to respond. But what I desire most in this moment is to see you step out of passivity, step out of fear, and step into obedience. For what I am preparing ahead is not only for you, but for other souls who are hungry, who are crying out to me without knowing where to run. You will be the one who brings my word to them. You will be the echo of my voice in a world of turmoil. You will be the sign by which they know that I am still at work, still redeeming, still loving. And as you step out, as you share what I speak, as you become the sower of seed, you will see clearly that you yourself are being healed through every word you give away. For I never allow anyone who takes part in my work to end up in lack. My presence will cover you, will renew your mind, will stand in the midst of the pain you have borne and turn it into testimony. I will turn the very places where you once collapsed into foundations on which others can stand. I will turn the tears you have shed into strength, so that others may know I am still alive, still speaking, still acting. So then, my beloved, open your heart even wider. Believe that this very moment is the point I chose from eternity to touch you. Believe that you have not wandered in here by accident. Believe that I am placing within you the weight and responsibility of light. And do what I am telling you. Share this word with those who need to hear it. not to please anyone, but because you are carrying life, not to fulfill a duty, but because you are obeying, not to draw attention to yourself, but because I have chosen you to carry my word to the souls who are waiting. You have been awakened, now awaken others. And as you do, you will see that it is I who am awakening something great within you, something I prepared since the dawn of creation for this very day. Go, my child, let my light flow through you to those who need hope as never before. I am with you, and I will be there in every word you speak. This is your moment. This is my moment in you. This is the moment your soul belongs wholly to life. This is what I speak to you. Step into it. My child, I have watched every step you have taken on this journey, full of turns so sharp that even you do not know how to name them. I have seen the times you wore a bright smile to hide the storm spinning fiercely inside. I have seen the tears you did not dare let anyone else see, afraid they would think you weak. And I have also witnessed the moments when you sat in silence in a dark room, feeling as though the world had turned its back and you were slowly dissolving into a dim, lonely shadow. Yet, my child, I want you to know a truth you have forgotten for far too long. You have never been, and never will be, invisible to me. You are always within my sight, not as someone lost, but as a precious gem I constantly cherish, as a part woven into the perfect plan I have crafted from the very beginning. That is why you must not hide from this moment, must not try to slip into other paths, just because you fear facing what is slowly being revealed in your heart. For it is precisely in this instant that I long to reach you with a truth that can draw you out of every invisible prison you have been carrying on your own. How many times have you pushed aside what I placed in your heart simply because you thought you were unworthy, because you believed I would speak to those who are stronger, brighter, more moral than you, and that such a word could never be meant for someone as unsteady as today? But today you need to know, these words are not being spoken to bounce off some vague crowd, but to go straight into your heart, the child whom I love, in a unique way. Many people rush after work, after ambition, after the calls of this life, until they can no longer hear what is eternal. Yet I, with a love that rises above all time, have stepped into the rhythm of your days, have drawn you out from the noise that seemed unending, have placed you in this very moment so that you can hear what, in earlier days, you were too exhausted to recognize. There is nothing random in the fact that you stand before my word now, nothing that can be called chance, and certainly not mere coincidence, for I do nothing hastily or without purpose. Every detail in your journey, even what you call mistakes, even the moments of disappointment, even the days when you felt you had lost all direction, I have seen them all, and I have used them to lead you back to this moment. You do not know how many seasons I have come to knock gently on the door of your heart, yet the noise of life kept you running, kept you busy so that you would not have to face the emptiness within yourself. You thought that if you just walked fast enough, all that emptiness would be left behind, but in reality it only followed you with a persistence greater than you imagined. I have been waiting for you in every breath, in every stirring of anxiety, in every second when you felt you had no reason to go on, and it was precisely when you grew too tired to keep resisting that I caused the noise to quiet in a strange way, so that you could hear my word without being deceived by other whispers. You think you stopped because you stumbled upon an unusual silence, but no, you halted because I stilled the winds, silenced the needless echoes, and slowed the hurried rhythm of your own heart so that you could see me. I have placed you in the very moment that I knew your soul needed more than anything else. You cannot understand all these arrangements because you have grown used to thinking that I only act through great miracles, through things that make the whole world marvel. But my love for you is not confined to what is dazzling. It is present in every stitch I weave into your life. I arrange for you to meet the right person at the right time, for you to hear the one sentence among 1,000 empty ones, for you to feel a gentle stirring in your heart when you thought you had gone numb to everything sacred. You assume these are nothing more than fleeting emotions, but this is how I call you back to me, slowly, tenderly, without frightening you. From the moments when you wanted to give up to the times when you stubbornly ran away, I have patiently woven your path with details that only now, as you stand in this moment, you are able to understand. And now you are here, sitting before me, not as a failure, not as a lost soul, but as a child, about to see again the true source of their life. You think you have come because you happen to hear a reminder, or because a sorrow too heavy to bear left you without anything else to cling to. But my child, it is not the sorrow that has brought you to me. I have used that very sorrow as a lamp to guide your steps. It is not your weakness that pushed you toward me. I myself calmed the storm at the moment you were close to collapse, so that you could hear my voice. It is not that the world has abandoned you. I am the one who closed some of the doors you tried so hard to hold on to, so that you would turn back to the door that is never locked for you. In every detail of this arrangement there is gentleness, patience, and the purposeful initiative of a love you cannot measure. You imagine that I have been watching from afar, but the truth is that I have never left you, not for a single moment. When you were so tired that you no longer wished to pray, I was interceding for you. When you lost faith in yourself, I continued to believe in what I had placed within you from the very beginning. When you felt you had no one beside you, I was so close that my breath brushed against your soul. I know your stumbles. I know the times you trusted in other lies. I know there were moments when you wanted to disappear from everything. Yet in all of this, you remain beautiful in my eyes, not because you are flawless, but because my love for you does not depend on what you succeed or fail at. That love does not fade, does not change, does not grow weary. It does not grow greater when you are good, nor shrink when you are weak. It simply is, always. Listen to me now. You are not here to hear a speech. You are here to hear again the very thing you have lost the sound of. My voice telling you that you have worth, that you are not an accident, that you are not useless, as the lies have sown into your heart, that you are not abandoned, that you are not disregarded. I do not need you to strive to please me. I only need you to open your heart so that I may heal you. You have been running for so long, straining for so long, carrying burdens that were never yours for far too many years, and now it is time for you to lay them down so that I can lift you up again. Do not resist any longer, my child. You are already so very tired. I am telling you this with both gentleness and solemn seriousness. This moment is more precious than you think. It is not a passing second, it is a doorway. If you step through it, you will find the grace of healing, a new hope, and the life I have long prepared for you. But if you let it slip by, you will return to the same old spiral, where you constantly have to prove your worth, where you listen to whispers that are not from me, where you keep carrying a bruised heart no one understands. I am not saying this to pressure you, but so that you will know that your deepest chance for healing is standing right before you. And I, the one who loves you more than anyone else, am stretching out my hands, waiting for you to come in. So do not run anymore. Do not think that you are unworthy. Do not assume that everything I am speaking is only for better people than you. You are the very one I want to touch. You are the very one I want to pull out of invisible chains. You are the very one I have appointed to meet me in this moment. And you are the reason I never give up. Because I love you, my child. And everything begins here. My beloved child, I need you to listen to everything I am about to say, not with a shallow mind, but with the deepest part of your soul, the place where you once hid the pain you did not want anyone to touch, the place where you withdrew because you were afraid of being hurt one more time. This moment is not an accident. You did not just happen to stop in front of these words. nor is it a coincidence that your heart trembles softly when you hear my name. It is I who have drawn you close, like a father searching for his lost child in the long night. I have moved through the noise of your life, through every call that wears you out, through all the busyness that makes you forget yourself, to bring you to this very second when I can speak to you more clearly than ever before. Do not see this as just another message, another lesson, or some random passage somewhere. This is a word from heaven, a moment when I bend down close to the earth for one reason only, to call your name. I have kept my eyes on you even when you no longer had the strength to lift your own. You do not know how many times you thought you were alone, when in fact it was in those very moments that I was closest to you. When you sat in the dark, staring at the fears rising in your heart like a tide, I did not leave you, not even for a single breath. You thought I was silent, but I was holding your soul, supporting the parts of you that you believed had completely collapsed. I have listened to every choking sob you did not dare to let out. I hear even the complaints you try to swallow because you think no one understands, no one cares. But I understand. I understand down to the roots. I hear from the deepest place, the place you are sure no one could ever reach. When you were standing at the edge of collapse, you did not know that it was precisely then that I stretched out my arms and held you back before you fell into the abyss of despair. When you thought of letting go of faith, letting go of hope, letting go of life itself, I embraced your soul with a love no human eye could see. Do you remember the time you said in your heart, "I can't take this anymore"? You thought those words were only a passing thought, but I heard them as clearly as if you had shouted them with all your strength. And I did not stand by and watch you fall apart. I placed a strange peace inside you, the kind that left you wondering why you were still able to live through the next day. That was me. The life you still carry in you today is not your own resilience, but my hand supporting each step you take. There are times when you look back over your life and see nothing but mistakes, collapses, and wounds that have never healed. You think that I must despise you, turn my face away, and never want to mention you again. But, my child, I do not love you with a conditional love. I do not love you because you are strong or holy. I love you even when you are at your most shattered. There is nothing you can do that will make me let you go. I paid the price with my own life to redeem you, not so that when you are weak I would toss you aside like something worthless. Do you think I gave my only son just so you could live in self-contempt? Or do you think I hung my own body on the cross just to watch you believe you are trash? No, my child, I paid that price because you are precious, not because you are perfect. I remember the days when you smiled while your heart felt as heavy as stone. I remember the times you tormented yourself over things you could not change. I see the nights when you toss and turn, trying to appear fine before everyone, yet crying in silence when no one is watching. I never despise your weakness. I only ache because you hide it from me. I do not want you to pretend to be strong in front of me, because I know every crack and I am not afraid to touch them. If there is anyone in this world who understands every corner of your heart, it is me, the one who knitted you together while you were still in your mother's womb. And do you know what is most astonishing? You think I am farthest from you when you are at your weakest, but that is exactly when I am closest. You think I do not hear, yet I am collecting every tear you shed as a treasure. You think I do not see, yet I am watching over each pain so that nothing crushes you beyond what you can bear. You think I do not speak, yet I have been sending reminders through people you never expected, through sudden thoughts, through small things you have brushed aside. I have been knocking on the door of your heart in many ways, but the noise of the enemy has drowned me out. You have believed the lie that you are unloved, that you have no worth, that I have forgotten you. But my child, if I had truly forgotten you, you would not be sitting here now, listening to the words I am speaking. I never abandon you. not even when you abandon yourself. When you look at your life and see only failure, I see a child longing to be restored. When you look at your shameful mistakes, I see lessons I want to use to build a new version of you. When you see dead ends, I see pathways I have long prepared. Why do you keep imagining that I look at you with eyes of judgment? Why do you think I am waiting for you to fail so I can punish you? I have poured all of my love into you. How could I take back what I have given with the fullest heart? My child, you have never been a burden. I have never sighed in exasperation because of you. I have never said, "This one is too troublesome, too much of a failure, too weak." Those words have never belonged to me. They are arrows from the enemy, wrapped in your own voice, so that you will think, "This must be the truth." But truth never makes you want to die. Truth makes you come alive. Truth never makes you hate yourself. Truth stirs you to return to me. Truth never makes you afraid of me. Truth makes you run to me with trembling hands, yet full of hope, for I am the truth. And I am speaking directly to you. I have watched every wandering step you have taken, not to keep a record of your wrongs, but so that I can run quickly to the very place where you fall. When you sink into spirals of sin, I do not pull my hand away. When you are drowning in disappointment, I do not step back. When you feel unworthy, I draw nearer to remind you that your value does not come from success or failure, but from the very one who calls you beloved. I know you have been trying to carry everything on your own. I know you try to be strong because you do not want to disappoint anyone. I know you are afraid that others will leave you if you show your weakness. But I am not like them. I do not leave you because you are weak. I hold you tighter because you need me. My dear child, it is I who have led you to this moment, not to blame you, but to pull you out of the lies that have been strangling you for so long. I do not want you to keep standing at the crossroads, one path leading to me, the other to forgetting. I do not want you to hesitate any longer, because I know how tired your heart has become. You do not have to strain and perform to earn my love. The love I have for you does not change no matter how many times you stumble. I do not love you because you are good. I love you because you are mine. Let me correct the way you see yourself. You are not a failure, not an extra, not a not good enough person. You have been redeemed at the price of blood. You are so valuable that I chose the cross rather than losing you. You cannot begin to imagine how great that love is. And I am pouring that very love into your heart right now through every word you are reading, through every stirring in your heart that you cannot explain. You are in a sacred encounter right now. This is not a moment that will simply pass and vanish. This is a time I appointed before you were born. I have been waiting for you here, not to evaluate you, but to tell you something I long for you to engrave on your heart. You have never been abandoned. You have never been forgotten. You have never been of lesser worth. And you have never stepped beyond the reach of my hand. Let me lift you up once more. Let me breathe new life into your soul. Let me set you back on the path that leads to the purpose for which I created you. All I am longing for is simply that you open your heart. You do not need to do anything grand. You do not need to prove anything. You only need to say to me, "Lord, here I am." My child, listen deeply into every breath within your heart, because what I am about to speak to you is not words tossed into the air, nor is it a vague message sent to the masses. This is a word I have set apart for you, the one I saw before the first light ever touched the world, the one whose name I called before you knew how to say your own. You have never been a blurred face in an endless crowd, for in my eyes you have always stood out like a gem I keep hidden in the fold of my garment. I do not speak carelessly, I do not speak casually, and I do not blend you into the crowd. I speak to you as a father, placing his hand on the shoulder of his only child, full of gentleness, yet full of urgency. Every sentence I speak has been appointed to touch the deepest place in your soul, the place you have tried many times to hide, to forget, or to convince yourself that no one could ever understand. I understand. I see. And I am calling you. You often think you have been forgotten, that no one sees the layers of heaviness piled up inside your heart, but I have been watching you every day, no matter how long you have kept silent before me. You are not a broken shard blown away by the winds of life. You are the one whose name I have engraved on the palm of my hand. Do you still remember the times I gently touched you through an inner stirring, through sudden waves of peace, through tears you could not explain? Those moments were not random. They were traces I left, so you would know that I have never moved away from you, not even half a step. I never speak to you as if addressing an anonymous crowd. No. I come for you. I call for you. I reach out for you. And today, I want you to fully grasp the very truth you have tried to escape. You belong to me, not because of your striving, but because I have placed you in my love from the very beginning. Do not say that you are not ready. You say that because you think my love is only for those who are more perfect, stronger, less flawed. But my child, readiness does not come from having prepared well enough. It comes from being willing to open your heart. A heart only closes when it believes it is unworthy. But my grace has never rested on your worthiness. If grace depended on you, it would no longer be grace. Do you think I do not know every mistake you have ever made? Do not see the things you try to hide? Do not hear the sighs you swallow in the darkness of the night? I know it all. I see it all. And I still call you, not because you are good, but because I love you so much that I cannot help but call you. You must remember that my love for you does not come after you have proved yourself worthy. It comes even before you know where you will stumble, before the wounds you now carry ever appeared. Do you think your failures, your weaknesses, your wrongdoings disqualify you from my plan? No, my child. I saw all of that before you ever committed them. I knew you would be weak, would fall, would run, would doubt, would resist. Yet I still wrote your name among the chosen. My love is not founded on your goodness, but on who I am, and I am love. Love does not take back its word, does not change its mind, does not turn its back just because you are not yet as I desire you to be. My child, what you are living right now is not a coincidence. Everything that is happening, whether heavy or light, is leading you to this very moment, and the time when I want you to realize that my call is real, urgent, and meant specifically for you. You have not wandered in here by accident. You are not hearing my voice in your heart by chance. Everything lies within the eternal design I have for you. And your destiny in this moment is not to run away, nor to cling to your pain as though it is your portion to bear. Your destiny is to hear my voice, receive my love, and step into the life that only I can give. How many times have you told yourself, later, another time, when I am better, I will come to the Lord, yet you do not know that it is these very postponements that are drying out your soul. You do not need to be better to come to me. It is your coming to me that will help you become better. Do not let time steal the spiritual sensitivity you once had. Do not think that I only call you when you are strong. No, my child, I often call you right in the midst of your weakness, because that is when you are able to listen most. The more tired you are, the weaker, the more broken, the more I long to hold you close. Do not push me away with the words, I am not enough. Your enough has never been the measure of my love. Look back over the years that have passed, the tears you have shed in silence, the decisions that left you in regret, the pains no one else knows about. I was there in all of it. Do you think I stood at a distance while you endured? No, I was right beside you, waiting for you to turn and see me. But because you thought you were too filthy, too ruined, too much of a failure, you did not dare look me in the eyes. You did not know that I have never once turned my face away from you. None of your sins have made me leave you. They have only made me want to draw you closer, because I know your soul has been crying out for restoration, even when your lips could not form the words. You belong to me, not because you have done everything right, but because I have signed my name over your life with the very blood of eternal love. You do not have to prove your worth in order to be kept. You already had worth long before you knew it. Your destiny is not to live under condemnation. Your destiny is not to cower in some dark corner of inferiority. Your destiny is to rise, to face the light, and to step into the life I long to give you. Let me say this to you gently, yet unmistakably clear. You are chosen, not by accident, not by luck, not because you are better than anyone else. You are chosen because I want you, because I see what I placed inside you from the very beginning. And once I have chosen, no power can change that, unless you refuse it. But do not refuse me any longer. You have been running long enough. You have been tired long enough. You have listened to lies long enough, until your soul has worn thin. It is time to lay everything down and let me carry you. When you respond to my voice, you do not merely step into restoration. You step into the very purpose for which I created you. You were not made to live patched together, not made to live in constant fear, not made to live faded and dim. You were made to live strong in the truth, to live free from every lie, to live in peace within my arms. You were created to become a testimony of my love that can bring to life what seemed dead, can heal what seemed beyond repair, can turn tears into light. You are that testimony, if you allow me to do my part. And now, as you stand at the threshold of this moment, I want you to know that I am not just calling you to bring you out of pain. I am calling you into a new journey, a journey where you will feel life flowing through every thought, every step, every decision. I want to give you a peace so deep that nothing can take it away. I want to give you a freedom so true that no chain of lies can bind you anymore. I want to give you a strength so steady that you can stand in the midst of darkness and still keep your light. All of this is held within this call, and this call is not addressed to anyone else. It is meant for you alone. Step in, open your heart, let me touch the places you have feared the most. You will lose nothing. You will only receive more. My love does not take anything from you except the darkness. And I know your soul has long hungered for that light. Today, I call you with all the tenderness of a father who does not want to lose his child, and with all the urgency of that love. Answer me, my beloved, for this is your moment, your turning point, the word spoken uniquely over your life. All you need to say is, yes, here I am, and the rest I will do within you, in ways more wonderful than anything you have ever imagined. My child, the words I am about to speak are not just for you to read and feel momentarily relieved. They are meant to go straight into the deepest place that all the noise around you has never been able to reach. Everything I have spoken throughout history is not a collection of stories for other people, but markers I have left to prepare for this very moment of yours. When I called Moses at the burning bush, it was not so he could witness my fierceness, but so he would know that a quiet life among the flocks was not the end of his story. When I sought out David in the lonely fields, it was not because he was the most outstanding, but because he was the one I beheld with eyes of mercy. When I came to Elijah in the cave with a gentle whisper, it was not because I was weak, but because I wanted him to understand that I had not abandoned him even as he was running from himself. And today, that same call is directed toward you not through thunder or blazing fire, but through the very words you are reading now, the words I have led you to. You think this is a random moment, a mindless swipe of your screen, a passage that happens to appear just when you are weary. But my child, there is no such thing as coincidence in the kingdom where I reign. There is not a single breath of yours that I do not watch over. There is not a single moment that passes in your life that I dismiss as something that just comes and goes like the wind. I have arranged every fragment of time, every event, every pain, every fall, and even your fragile joys to lead you to this exact instant, the moment when I can say to you what you have been avoiding for so long. You have not come here on autopilot. You have come because I have touched a very deep chord in your soul, causing you to pause in the middle of your chaotic thoughts to read these words. You do not realize it, but you are standing before an encounter I have appointed for you from long ago. I have heard your sighs in sleepless nights. I have seen the tears you hide from every eye. I have known the times you grit your teeth and endure because you think that crying will not change anything. I have felt your fear, your loneliness stretched out in silence, the many times you have wondered whether anyone truly understands you. And every tear, every breath, every hidden cry has reached me, long before you could put them into words. You think they are meaningless, but to me, they are the bells that tell me you are in need of a word to lift you up. I have heard it all. I have never ignored anything that concerns you. And now I speak this truth so that you will know. My word that comes to you never returns empty. It is not an ornament for your mind. It is not a sentence meant to offer temporary comfort. Every word I utter has a purpose and is sent to the very soul that needs to hear it. If today my word is touching you, it is not because I am speaking too strongly, but because your heart has been weary for too long, dry for too long, wounded for too long, so that a single drop of water from me is enough to make it tremble. You feel this not because you are weak, but because you have been chosen to hear. So, my child, stay. Do not let your eyes run after other things while your soul is longing to be healed. You have spent a lifetime listening to voices that have drained you, the voices that say you are not good enough, not worthy, not loved, that you have no future. So why not give a moment to the one who knit you together with my own hands? I do not blame you for running too fast. I am not disappointed because you once turned your back. But I grieve when I see you walking under lies and mistaking them for the truth. This is the moment I am calling you to stop, just stop, and give me the chance to touch the deepest part of you that you have locked away in fear. Whisper it, even if only in your heart. I choose to remain in the presence of the Lord. When you say that, you are not merely making a mental decision. You are opening a spiritual door that the enemy has long tried to keep shut. You are stepping into a realm of light where only the children who dare to return can enter. You are telling the darkness that it no longer has any claim over you. You are shaking the chains that have bound your heart with shame, torment, and guilt. These are not ordinary words, they are a declaration of war. You must first know who I am. I am not just an idea for you to cling to when you are weak. I am not a projection of your desperation. I am the Lord, the self-existent and everlasting one, the one who spoke a word and the waters parted, the one who breathed and life took form, the one who stretched out his hand and the mountains stood still, the one whose call makes even the darkness step back. When I speak a word, life bows down, and it is that very voice that is now whispering within you, not to frighten you, but to draw you out of the heaviness you have carried for far too long. You have never gone so far from me that I could not call you back. No mistake you have made is greater than the love I have for you. No wound is deeper than my power to heal. You think disappointment has ruined you. You believe your weakness has turned you into a burden. But I tell you the truth, the very places you call ruins are where I begin to rebuild. The cracks in your soul do not make me withdraw, they draw me closer. This very moment, the fact that you are still reading is the proof that I have never turned my back on you. If I had wanted to abandon you, I would have been silent long ago. But I am not silent. I call. I wait. I touch. I stir. I speak. And you are listening, even though you believe you do not deserve to. This is why I love you, because I see your worth even when all you see are your wounds. So let me go on. Let me finish what I have begun. Let me restore what has been broken. Let me bring back to life what you thought was gone. You lose nothing by staying, but you will lose so much if you turn away. So stay, because I have not finished speaking, because your story is not over, because a new chapter is waiting to unfold, and because you belong to me, now and forever. Listen deeply, because the words I am about to speak will seep into your soul like water flowing through dry ground. So stay, do not leave. Do not let the rush of this life pull you away from the place where I am nourishing your soul. This moment is not just floating words, not just a random minute of scrolling, not just a passing emotion that will soon fade. This is bread from heaven that I myself am giving you, not to stir your feelings, but to feed the part of you that is so hungry you no longer dare to name your hunger. Your soul has crossed many deserts, endured many wordless thirsts, lived through long days when it seemed nothing could move you anymore. And yet it is I, the one who sent manna from heaven into the wilderness, who am now setting before you spiritual food prepared especially for you. If you walk away before the time I have appointed, you will walk off like someone refusing water when their lips are cracked, like someone turning their back on a feast prepared over a lifetime just so they could come in. You do not realize that I have laid out this nourishment not for tomorrow, but for this very moment you are living, because I, your Lord, know exactly when your heart is tired, when your mind has lost its way, and when you are too weak to stand on your own. Right now it is I who am calling you, not with anger, not with pressure, but with the gentle tone that only the Creator can place in His words. I am calling you to come closer, to lay your hand upon my words, and let them soak into every corner of your soul. I am asking you to express your faith, not with showiness, not so that I may know how much you love me, for I already know, but so that you yourself may become aware that you are responding to a call from heaven. When you press like, when you subscribe, I see it as a public declaration. I am here. I want to hear you. I want what belongs to you. I know that to people this seems like nothing more than a light touch on a screen, but in the spiritual realm, it is a door opening. Each time you do this, you are partnering with me to spread my word to others who are wandering in the darkness, just as you once did. You have no idea that such a small interaction lets my word reach people you will never meet. This is not mere technique, not a habit, but a prophetic act, for every step of faith sets something in motion in the unseen realm. When you choose to stay, when you decide not to leave halfway, you take your place among those who say, I choose life over weariness. I choose truth over lies. I choose His presence over the noise of the world. Understand this deep within you. I am God, and nothing in me is random. Everything I do is weighed, timed, and filled with purpose beyond your understanding. I do not waste words, for every word I speak carries the power to reshape destinies. I do not waste encounters, for every time I allow a soul to stand before my presence, I have already seen what will be transformed. And I will never waste a human life, least of all yours, the one I knitted together in every detail before you were formed in your mother's womb. In this moment you are standing before an eternal doorway. What you are experiencing is not a temporary, pleasant feeling. It is an appointed encounter meant to draw you back to the center of my heart, the place you once belonged but allowed the noise of this life to pull you away from. Do not think this is just a video, just a spiritual experience, just an emotional moment that will fade. No, my child, this is a real encounter. This is my voice, the voice that once shook Mount Sinai, that broke through the silence of Elijah's cave, that called Samuel by name when he was still a boy who did not yet understand what the voice of God was. Now that same voice is turned toward you, not through wind, not through fire, but through this very moment you consider ordinary, which I have chosen to use to touch you. I am the Lord, and I see what no one else can see. I see through the smile you struggle to maintain each day, through the I'm fine you force yourself to say, through every attempt to stand firm while your heart is slowly cracking. I know when your faith is hanging by a slender thread. I know when you say, Lord, with your lips, while your heart feels empty, because you have been too wounded to truly trust me. I know the difference between those who speak my name out of habit and those who give me their whole lives in true surrender. I do not stand to condemn one or the other, but I see clearly every motive, every trembling, every whispered word. I know when you come to me out of desperation, when you come seeking comfort, and when you come because you genuinely long for me. And I love all three stages, because each of them draws you closer to me. My child, I call you not because I need you, but because you need me. I call because I see your heart has become too dry to bear it alone. I call because I know that if you do not return, the lies out there will keep tearing at your faith until there is nothing left for you to hold on to. I call because I have prepared something new for your life, a peace not built on circumstances, a security not based on human praise, a life that rises above the weariness you are carrying. But none of this can flow into your life if you walk away before I complete my purpose in this very moment. Let me tell you this, your faith is not a fleeting feeling, it is a response. Faith is not excitement, it is the choice between my whisper and the world's shouting. Faith is not inspiration, it is the decision to stand before me even when you do not fully understand, do not fully see, do not fully feel. And when you express your faith even through a small action the world considers meaningless, I count it as a step your soul is taking into the truth. Do not belittle what I call precious, so stay. Let me feed your soul with every word I speak. Let me heal the places in your heart that have shattered so badly you believe they can never be mended. Let me teach you to discern the true voice from the false, light from darkness, life from sweet deception. You have walked in weariness for too long. Now is the time to lay your burdens down at my feet. And my child, remember that I am here, not merely through words, not merely through a screen, but through a real presence surrounding you right now. You are not just reading, you are being met. You are not just hearing, you are being touched. These are not the words of a stranger, this is the whisper of the Father, the voice of the one who loves you more deeply than words can ever express. Stay, I am doing something new in you, and I never fail in what I begin. My beloved child, before you open your mouth to pray, let your heart grow still like calm waters waiting to receive the first light of dawn. Let each deep breath lead you into the quiet that I am wrapping around you. And when you are ready, lift up your heart, not hurried, not guarded, but with the full sincerity of the soul I have placed within you. Now let the prayer from your deepest places flow out like pure water returning to its source. O Almighty God, I run to you in my own smallness and weakness. I have heard your words through every page of Scripture, and even in the silent moments when I thought you had fallen quiet. Today I want to offer you a heart worn out by the lies that have surrounded it. Please burn away everything that does not belong to the truth, cleanse every distorted thought, and dissolve the fears that have bound me for so long. Breathe new life into the places where my spirit has withered, so that I may rise with strength that comes from you alone. I ask that you do not let me drift from your holy call, but help me to listen to you each day with wholehearted devotion and obedience. Father, you who see the tiniest tremor within my heart, today I return to you with shame mingled with hope. I can feel your tenderness as you lead me out of the shadows I had grown used to living in. Please help me strip away the layers of disguise I have worn to appear strong before the world while hiding the parts of me that are hurting inside. Let me recognize your voice more clearly than the voice of doubt, the voice of fear, and the accusing words the enemy has sown within me. Lay your hand upon my heart so that it may be healed, set free, and live fully in your light. Lord of resurrection, I come to you like a cracked vessel still longing to be touched by you. I believe that you never abandon a soul that longs to return. Please gather every broken piece within me, my disappointments, my fears, the times I blamed myself, and the times I collapsed. Shape them again with your mercy, so that I may become a new vessel, not by my own strength, but molded by your hand. Lord, awaken the wellspring of life in me once more, that I may no longer chase after lies, but stand firm in the truth. Loving Father, I thank you for speaking to me, not only with words, but with a boundless patience I do not deserve. I thank you for not leaving me in the darkness of doubt, but always finding ways to draw me out by the truth. I know that without you, my soul would have shattered beyond repair. Thank you for touching my heart with your gentleness, for being slow to anger and rich in mercy. I know that every word you speak is a precious gift my life cannot do without. Father, I thank you that you are not in a hurry, that you do not grow angry at my slowness, but you wait for me like a father watching for his child to come home. I thank you that every time I tremble or grow weary, you do not drive me away but open wide your arms to hold me close. I am grateful that you not only heal what others can see, but also the deepest places no one else knows. I thank you that no matter how many times I lose my way, you still see me as precious and have never let go of my hand. I offer this prayer in the holy name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong and vibrant community of faith.